Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast, Cade Horton wins a National League Rookie of the Year award. Plus, what should the Cubs do, and will they do, with a very complicated contract situation for Shota Imanaga? Plus, our World Series draft. Who you taking? It's the #1 Cubs podcast in the universe. Next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Let's go places. And we are ready to talk a little baseball on the 23rd of October, so 23. Wore the Rhino hat, the Rhino shirt today, I thought of this morning. That. 23. Maybe I'll do that every 23rd that comes up every month.
Nice little synergy there.
Yeah, I like that.
When is Milton Bradley Day?
I don't know. Is he still in prison?
I think no.
Is he out now? I don't know how that all works.
To say.
Hey, speaking of, before we get into anything, speaking of prison, this poker story, huh? We got mafia families. We've got Chauncey Billups arrested.
We got crooked zebras.
Damon Jones arrested. We got X-ray tables. We have cell phones.
Wow. A lot to unpack.
Yeah, we could do a 3-hour podcast.
Well, and look, I think it's fair because when we talk about specifically maybe not the gambling, the illegal poker games or whatever, that's a little bit maybe outside of the realm of sports, but it does seem to be bleeding into gambling, cheating, cooking a game, trying to shave points. And these are topics that have been connected to baseball for over 100 years.
Yeah.
So,
including this year with Class A.
Yeah, and look, I think like the most, and the Class A, just about outside with the first pitch for the 1-0 there. Like, I think obviously, as we all know, there's a lot of legalized versions of gambling throughout the country now. But I mean, I think that it is so imperative right now that not just whatever goes on in the NBA, MLB needs to take a cue from this, and they always have been. If you cheat the game, you're out forever. But man, this needs to be locked tight, man, because if we lose the specter of that version of integrity at all, then everything's lost.
But the poker thing has nothing to do with it. But who's to say there aren't baseball players?
The poker thing isn't the only thing.
The face card they're calling them.
Hold on, but I just want to contend with Joey saying, you're going to be banned forever. Aren't we now going to be voting on Pete Rose's eligibility? Aren't we going to be voting on Shoeless Joe Jackson's eligibility?
Well,
isn't all of that being rolled back?
Forever until you're dead.
According
to Rob Manfred.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, but first of all, when we talk about Rob Manfred too, as well as I don't understand how Adam Silver survives this. I
always liked him I thought he was one of the better commissioners, but this is a tough one for him.
This is a really tough look. He's already had to kick a couple guys out of the league last year, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, most specifically. And now it isn't just the Chauncey Billups thing, but Terry Rozier, Jonte Porter possibly getting in so deep with some of these connected illegal rings of gambling that they were possibly leaning on him then to do something within the specter or inside the lines of a game. And I don't know. I just think I get it. Everyone's having a nice fun lap with making fun of this. And this is very much out of the plot of the movie Casino or Sopranos and all that. But it's the only thing.
Hit me with another card.
Do you want the hammer or do you want the money in the hammer or do you want to walk out of here alive? Right. But I don't know, man. I think this is obviously it's going to get a lot worse. And I think every single sport needs to really kind of take a look at how they can make whatever their policy is. And I know baseball's is probably really tough with the Class A thing. How do we make it more robust?
I don't know, but it's not taxpayers or the government's problem. This is the leagues, right? Yeah. The leagues need to figure it out on their own. They're the ones that welcomed gambling into their sports. Yeah. We love it. It's great, but you've got to make sure it's all on the up and up. I don't
The other one is, and Sean, I'd love to hear your take on this too, is do we just need to get rid of player props?
Yeah, they've
already mitigated and gotten rid of the unders. And I can understand the over is still a thing that you have to go out and do, but should we just get rid of player props altogether? That's the part that maybe we have to ask ourselves. Can we not control our own impulses from player to player?
I think maybe you can get rid of like Jonte Porter rebound props. Maybe the specific of a bench player is where it gets a little bit too far. Do I think LeBron James is linked with the Italian mafia? No, but also there's a video of him tapping Chauncey Billups on the shoulder during
Gilbert Arenas
right.
with Damon Jones in a game.
No,
and they all played cards together, according to Gilbert Arenas.
Gilbert didn't say it in a bad way. It was just more like, hey, we got you if you missed this shot. I think was the illusion.
Yeah.
But
and look, here's the thing, right? Is that like, look, we're in the city of Chicago, right? We had a very famous athlete here who very famously loved to gamble on a plane with his teammates and on a golf course. There's a competitive nature to gambling. I get all that. It's not to gloss over the fact that this cannot bleed into the actual result of the game, or sports itself is cooked. It is cooked. We can't walk in there. We can't walk in there with that conspiratorial vibe of like, well, this thing is rigged. And I understand some people do that when they go and watch their NFL or whatever it is, but we can't do that as a whole to its core, or the whole thing will cave in on itself.
What I don't get about this story in particular, and some of the other ones, I understand why, for instance, Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley like to play poker and gamble on stuff and play golf and gamble on it. I get it, because they're looking for that same competitive like buzz that they get, right? That excitement that they got from playing in the game. And later in their career, or even on the plane with teammates, that gives that to them. And money's really not something that generally factors into their lives because they have so much of it. But for instance, Chauncey Billups, who's been charged in this thing, Chauncey's a wealthy guy, right? Like from his playing days to now his head coaching days and even some media days, it's like he has enough money. Why would he want to get involved in something that's going to net him some more money? He's got enough money. Why would you risk it on this? I understand why you'd want to have that, I picked the winner, but why would you want to get in and fixing poker games with the mafia involved? Like, I don't understand how that goes down. Somebody explain that to me.
I wonder how long he's been kind of a part of this. His cash wasn't really that big until he won an NBA final, and he was already around 27 when that happened. He was only making around $2 million when he first got into the league, so maybe they got it to him early. And even though he accumulates 108 in his playing career, and then whatever he gets in the coaching career, it's about $5 million, and you see some of these guys, I mean, that could just be a bet for them. That could be a single wager. I don't know.
The part that I think is, if we want to just like psychoanalyze who we are as human beings, I think greed and reputation are addictive qualities. And obviously, when we talk about greed, obviously everyone's always going to want more. Everyone's always going to want this funny money side cash that they could throw around however they want to entertain themselves in whatever the way that they want. And in concert with that, someone's reputation and losing that, you can always threaten that and get people to either, I'm not saying that they just picked Chauncey Billups one day and now he's running an illegal game. Probably a part of that out of his own volition, whether he won or lost. And if you put someone's reputation at stake, you can manipulate a person to continue doing whatever it is that you want them to do because they are now leveraged. And that's how you get in trouble in life. And I'm purely speculating here, of course, but those are two elements that are really serious things in life that we all have to deal and battle with. And I think Chauncey Billups has had to deal with both of them.
Blink twice if you are linked with the Italian mafia.
I just went cross-eyed.
Nope, nobody did.
Nobody did.
My eyes almost stayed open.
As far as we know.
Your Honor. Anyways, Your Honor. The whole thing is bizarre, and we know it impacts baseball. I don't have a big feel
God,
that...
Brother CHGO, don't talk about my family, please.
No. And I don't have a feel that the... I don't really believe that the gambling apps and stuff are as big of a factor as some people think in this. Like, gambling's been going on forever. We're talking about poker games behind doors, right? Like, this is a totally different thing. It's still gambling, but it's not like it's not like betting on how many wins do I think the Cubs are going to get this year, or fantasy football or any of it.
Yeah, I'm not clutching my pearls at that. The stuff that I don't like is the clips of Terry Rozier throwing this awful bounce pass and then him dogging it on the way back and letting the dude shoot an open three. It's just like, and it's not even like the integrity of the game. That's just a poor quality of the game.
Yes.
Like, I want to watch the best athletes do the best stuff at the sport that I like and enjoy. And when you see stuff like that and you see a head-shaking moment, sometimes you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but he's literally acting like an idiot on purpose.
Well, and also, it's a coach. I think when it's a small minor player like Jonte Porter, Terry Rozier, it could be excused, right? Like if you're betting on a Hornets Wizard game in March, maybe you should call the number. Maybe that's not the game you should be betting on. Not trying to judge or anything, but like you're betting a Terry Rozier player prop in a Wizards game, like. It does seem very odd, but the fact that Billups is a part of it, that can affect injuries, that can affect, playing time for players. I think one thing that people brought up, I think the Blazers just went to overtime, and Donovan Clingan, who was just their first-round pick, played like 11 minutes. Like, he wasn't playing his best players to give them an actual chance last night, and that's where, at least as a bettor myself, I have issue with the game not being played fairly. Right, and then you just wonder if a coach is able to do this, then a ref's absolutely able to do this. We saw it in the NBA already with Tim Donahue in the early 2000s.
And to the credit to a lot of these companies, and some of them are partners and sponsors of the show, to the credit of them, honestly, is they seem to be really on top of this stuff.
They're the ones calling it out sometimes.
Right, where Emmanuel Clase throws a ball 1-0, and all of a sudden goes, wow, there were a lot of bets placed on a very peculiar pitch that doesn't happen very often. We're going to flag that and look into that. And honestly, they deserve at least some credit because at least somebody around here is trying to keep the peace.
And that's seemingly what got Rozier caught. Was Rozier, what was it? He played under 9 minutes or something like that. They bet the under on his
it was over $200,000 or something like that on his under on minutes, and then he had a foot injury.
Yeah, and then him and the Italian mafia went back to his house and counted all the cash. Right? Like, I mean, that's where DraftKings or whatever sponsor, not sponsor, whoever it is, will be like, oh, hey, you just took $200K from us. Now we have to look into it, right? So
how is it possible that Christian Yelich only hits? Oh, never mind. I'm not making that connection. It's a joke. Just settle down. The whole team hit 118. How's that possible? I'm joking.
17 home runs in Greg Braggs Jr. Stadium. So
just fix your escalators.
But no, it's weird. It's weird. It's sad. I get like in the parlance of our times with social media, everyone's going to make like a joke about it.
Yeah.
But I do think that this is something that I hope that at least the NBA takes incredibly seriously, and I hope every other sport at least looks at it and says, how can we not at least let this somehow drip into our game? And I think baseball did that by taking guys off the board with Emmanuel Clase and the Guardians this year.
We are going to talk about Shota. We are going to talk about Cade Horton. We are going to talk about the World Series. I will just say this is interesting to me as a sports fan. It's interesting to people that gamble on sports. I don't think it's the biggest problem in our society right now. I'm not even sure it's in the top 10, but it's interesting, and it does affect people that watch a lot of sports. So anyways, let's just touch on Cade Horton. We got to take a break in a second, but the news is that he is the Sporting News National League Rookie of the Year. Didn't see it coming at the beginning of the season. I just didn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't a big part of the team. He wasn't on the team when the season started. But that's how great he was.
Yeah, it was. What was let's be really honest with ourselves, Cubs fans. Like, what was the goal when this season began? That maybe Cade Horton would pitch at some point this year and get his feet a little wet. And I think, is it also fair, Luke, to say that when we walked into last year, we had probably higher hopes of Ben Brown having an impact on the Major League team than maybe Cade Horton was? Just on the sole fact that he had already graduated and made an appearance, where our expectation levels, were they the same? Were they higher for Ben Brown, or were they?
I bet they were at least equal.
Pretty close, right? Of who can help us, what young arm can be impactful, and to see what Cade Horton has done, honestly, from the very first start. I mean, he had one or two bad ones, right? But other than that, he was really solid in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then he went from really solid to really, really good. And now his peers are recognizing him with the Sporting News Rookie of the Year.
Will Mr. Cade Horton go from a Rookie of the Year to a Cy Young in the next 3 years? Let us know what you think in the chat. But first, a word from our great sponsors at CHGO.
Hey, Cubs fans, whatever the moment, never ordinary with Bet365. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. They have the early football payout offer. So if you're listening to this show today, tonight for Thursday Night Football, if one of those teams, any of those teams goes up by 17 points, there's an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Also, World Series this weekend, the Bet365 early payout offer. If either team goes up by 5 runs, with an instant payout on straight bets, you get parlay selections too as well. They're marked as winners. So download the app. Use that code CHO365 when you sign up. Remember, when you head on over to Bet365, you can get $200 in bonus bets. When you bet $5, win or lose. So remember, you must be 21 plus or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, Crisis Counseling and Referral Services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. And remember, with Bet365, it's in-app only.
Bet365. All right, hey, Cubs fans. Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The RAV4 has legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-sized third row is for real, and the Tacoma's wild side, that is standard. From job sites to campsites and game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota to get you there in style. Find yours at Toyota.com or visit your Chicagoland Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. Don't get left out in the cold with this garbage weather that's on the way. All right, what a time it is to be a CHGO diehard right now. Upgrade your fandom today and get access to our exclusive written content, a free t-shirt, plenty of discounts on future merchant events, plus access to that CHGO Discord Lounge where we hang out, talk Chicago sports, sometimes a little bit more. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join the thousands of CHGO diehards and sometimes sickos, affectionately, in our community. Cade Horton is your Sporting News National League Rookie of the Year. We were just talking about Horton and Ben Brown going into last season, right? It takes me back to the beginning of this podcast when we first started and we were talking about Steele and Keegan Thompson. And it was like, oh, maybe both of these guys will be starters. Oh, maybe both of these guys will be like, we weren't sure, right? I'm hoping that round 2, although it's gone great for Steele and now Keegan Thompson no longer a Cub, wish him well. I hope round 2 goes much better. I hope that Cade Horton goes even higher than Justin Steele, which has been pretty high. And then I also hope that Ben Brown can be more of a factor than Keegan Thompson was after a little blip that was really good in the Cubs bullpen, but it was just a little blip.
Yeah, full disclosure, when that happened at the time, I was in that moment. I was a little higher on Keegan Thompson.
I know.
Right?
I've said that too. Like, I was pretty high on them. We called him the mayor.
Yeah,
mayor
and
of Chicago.
Baseball's a funny sport, right? So that's a really interesting comparison. And I think it's fair to say, and this isn't a derogatory shot at Justin Steele, but I think Cade Horton's stuff now and moving forward is better than Justin Steele's stuff, maybe even on his best day. I mean, he's got a great cutter. I understand that, but Cade Horton can flash 3 different pitches. That fastball's at 97. Got great breaking stuff. He's got a little bit of that change in there. And honestly, like, it's just been such an interesting ascension for him, right? I'm just pulling up his game logs here, right? Like, solid baseball, 4 or 5 innings, 2-3 runs here again. I was trying to remember, but yeah, he got knocked around in Houston, 4 innings, 7 earned runs, didn't get very far, walked 4 guys that day, which was a complete outlier from what his full season was. A couple starts later in Minnesota when we got swept, he got roughed around 4 2/3, only 4 runs, and then 0, 0, 0, zeros, 1, 1, 1, and then went on this crazy streak. So it's fine to get incredibly excited about Cade Horton, and I do think he is going to take another step this year, but I think that other step is maybe the more boring stuff that maybe Cubs fans don't want to hear. Where when I say next step, I'm not saying he's going to have an ERA under 2. Next step for me is that more innings, right? Higher pitch count, a guy that you can rely on. Get me a little bit closer to Jameson Taillon, right? Of those 6-inning type pitchers. And I think that's the next step for Cade Horton, maybe, because I think the counting stats of what he's done this year, That 2.67 ERA, I mean, man, he's just so unbelievable in the second half. I find it a little hard or maybe unrealistic to think that can be replicated right off the jump next year.
I hope it does.
I do
hope
too.
It's replicated. I would agree that health, a.k.a. more innings, are probably connected, and they're probably the biggest thing. He may develop even yet another pitch this offseason, right? He started working on different things during the season. It's one of the things that Counsell said was so impressive about not only his results, but what he was doing throughout the season, starting to mix in new pitches. Now, if he gets the actual National League Rookie of the Year award that everybody recognizes, that would make him the 7th Cubs player in franchise history to win Rookie of the Year. We were looking it up. It goes back to Chris Bryant, then Giovanni Soto. Before that, Kerry Wood, Jerome Walton, Ken Hubbs in 62, and Billy Williams in 61. Now, you got a Hall of Famer on that list. You have a guy who pitched arguably the greatest game ever pitched, and then you have a guy who was Rookie of the Year, then MVP, and won a World Series. That's the type of stuff I'm hoping fits in with, where Cade Horton's going, but we're just going to have to wait and see. I also think adding another pitcher this offseason, a high-end pitcher this offseason, will take a little bit of that. Not that I don't know that the pressure really bothers him. It doesn't seem to, but I would still like to take some of that pressure off of him so that he doesn't think he has to be that guy right on opening day next year. That might drive him this offseason, but I don't want him thinking, the whole team's success is on my shoulders. I don't need that either.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point. We're reading it the same way of he's at the point in his career right now where I do think there is time for him to have a couple more years before he becomes like the big dog, right? I have full confidence because he did it this last year of being a great stopper, right? Like, thank God Cade Horton's on the mound. I think we're going to win today. Chicago Cubs needed that a ton last year, especially when he got on that hot streak. But if there is someone that you can pair with him and create that 1-2 combo, I think it also just changes everything. We are going to get around to talking about Shota Imanaga, and if he does come back, sliding him down a little bit in the rotation, it provides a little bit more of a quality value in the back of that rotation. Everything moves up and everything just stays more solid and stable in the middle. And we will see if Cade Horton actually does win Rookie of the Year next month. And I've been doing too many entertainment analogies, so I'm gonna get one more in there. But it's almost like like the Sporting News is kind of winning like the BAFTA or like the Golden Globe right before he wins the Oscar. It's like kind of like that,
People's Choice Award.
And I'm trying to just.
It's been around a long time though. It's not like a total.
Right.
I don't want to knock it down and say it's a BS award. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah, and look, it might be a little hard is just trying to protect Cade Horton because him and PCA are the most exciting things about the Chicago Cubs in coming for the next 5 years. But I will also tell you that if you look at the list of just the National League of who's won the Rookie of the Year over whatever the last 20 years, it is littered with
that we actually recognize most of the time.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
It is absolutely littered with superstars. There's a couple of outliers and guys that had decent careers, but last year, Paul Skeens, before that, Corbin Carroll, Michael Harris II, Jonathan India, Devin Williams, and then Pete Alonso, Ronald Acuna, Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, Chris Bryant, Jacob deGrom, Jose Fernandez, Bryce Harper, Craig Kimbrell, Buster Posey, and then Chris Coughlin, and then Giovanni Soto. But 85% of those guys went on to have not only multi-all-star years, but also Hall of Fame careers. I think all Cubs fans want that for Cade Horton, so I just want him to be healthy, ready to roll. And to your point, Luke, if you can get someone to front the rotation where maybe he is the number 2 guy for the next year or two, it's not the worst thing in the world, and it's a wealth of riches that I'm willing to live in.
Yeah, because you can always move guys. If you really feel like you have to move one in the offseason, you can. And don't you dare chuckle at Cogsy winning Rookie of the Year.
World Series champ.
You better believe it. All right, so the other part of this rotation that we're talking about today is Shota. Like, where do the Cubs go with this? Now, if you would have asked me at the beginning of last year, if you would have asked me halfway through last season, I would have said this is a no-brainer. The Cubs pick this up, and they go for the club option, 3 years, $57 million. They move forward. First of all, I would suggest that other than Andre Dawson signing a blank check, is this contract maybe the most complicated, complex, interesting, and maybe even creative free agent deal that the Cubs have signed. Like, it seems to me, I don't know of another player that's had one like this. This one's out there. Like, they got options all over the place. I can't even keep track of some of it, but the club option is first. If the Cubs pick up 3 years, $57 million, he'll make about $20 million a year, $19 million a year. Then Shota has a player option if the Cubs don't pick that up at $15 million for 2026. If they both say no, then there's the option that the Cubs could extend a qualifying offer at like 22 or 23 million. And then if Imanaga does pick up his $15 million option for 26, I believe that kicks in a Cubs option for 2 years, $42 million after that. Like, and I think there's more of it than even that.
You can also qualify for an extra large soda with the combo meal if you decide to go that route as well.
A rally cake a month type deal from Portillo's. I don't know what the deal is.
Hey, a rally cake a day keeps the sadness away.
I don't know if we want that because he wouldn't, we want to keep him in shape. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Can we at least give, because look, coming up next week, we're going to start doing report cards, and I think we're going to start with Jed Hoyer, and this will be something that maybe we touch on of, can we at least give some small brownie points to Jed for the type of creativity and creating the type of flexibility for a contract in a player that provides some assurances from the club and also provides some opportunities for the player. And if we go back and roll the clocks back to when he signed, I think everyone gave him a little golf clap for getting Shota Imanaga at the price that he got him at. And
even though it was Shota's side that reached out and was like, hey, we want to play for the Cubs.
Right.
Like the way it sounds, the way it's been reported is that Shota's agent was kind of like, hey, don't forget us. We really want to be on the Cubs. While they were looking at all the other players, it was like, yeah, plan B, we'd like this and we'll get creative with it. It's value-wise, it's been really, really good. If they were to both walk away right now at this point and Shota's no longer a Cub, you would look at 2 years of Shota Imanaga and say,
it worked.
Well, they got to a postseason, and it worked.
And he was an all-star.
Yeah.
And let's be real, too. Like, and this is something that I want to drill in on the other side of the break as we're getting sort of close to it, and we're going to play some Jed sound talking about Shota as well as this season. I think we're going to look back, and one of the themes of this season have been players on this team that we have had really solid, strong opinions about, and then those opinions flipped on their head at some point during the course of the year. And Shota Imanaga is in that list. Dude, we did shows where we did who would start game one of a playoff series, and I said with confidence at the time, this is what, maybe late July, early August, I think Shota Imanaga deserves to be in consideration for game one. And look at what happened, unfortunately, over the span of those 2 months. Shota pitched himself out of that conversation. And not only did he pitch himself out of the conversation, pitched himself out of being usable in a playoff game, and then now is maybe pitching himself out of Cubs fans wanting him to be on the team next year. So there's two conversations to have, and the question is, who is the real Shota Imanaga, and can the Cubs bank on that in 2026?
And was an injury part of, did he ever fully recover from his injury? I don't know. Was he tipping pitches? I don't know. I don't think either of those can explain, 27 home runs in
31 home runs allowed.
27 in 24.
Oh, yeah.
And then his ERA went from 2.91, which, hey, don't sneeze at that, wind blowing in or not, to 3.73. Also pretty good. You're right. So many players flipped that script. Like PCA flipped the script. We had Horton flip the script. We had Matt Shaw flip the script.
Tucker.
We had Kyle Tucker flip the script. We had Shota flip the script. Going into the season, there were lots of people, podcasts, media, fans. We were all debating, who's the Cubs ace? Is it Steele or is it Shota? Is it 1A or is it 1B? And I bet you that was 50-50 split.
And then it became Matthew Boyd for a second. And then Horton rounded the bend and caught up to him, right? And so it's a fun conversation to have, because I think for the way that these changed, a lot of these things were positive elements for the Chicago Cubs. But at the same time, we do have to be serious and ask ourselves, like, don't just sit in the moment and only think of Shota Imanaga giving up bombs to the Milwaukee Brewers. You have to think of the bigger picture a little bit and the value that he can bring to the team, and then ask yourself, who are you going to get next year, and then try and make that decision.
All right, before we get to Jed and before we get to the break, as we head to that, I'll ask you this question in the live YouTube chat. Would you straight up just pick up the 3 years on his club option? Would you pick up the 3-year option today and say, Shota, we got you for 3 more years and $57 million? Answer that as we talk about our sponsors here at CHGO. Okay, let's get real for a second here, okay? The world has gone really, really soft.
I agree.
Everybody gets a trophy for showing up in school now.
Why?
Everything needs to be bubble wrapped. Kids are walking uphill to school, and it's just one way it's uphill.
With Uggs on.
I did it both ways uphill with no shoes. Sometimes straw in some sandals. Soda used to have some kick. Now it's all about pretty colors and easy fizz. RC Cola is not one of these soft drinks. It's just a damn good cola. It's the original cola that doesn't fold under pressure. RC's the OG, baby. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. It hasn't changed its stripe since 1905 because it didn't need to. Same bold, crisp flavor it's always been. RC Cola tastes like a punch in the thirst. So do yourself a favor. Grab some RC for those Halloween parties, Bears games.
Yes.
RC is the right move for whatever you're doing. I heard someone the other day walking on the sidewalk the other day saying, man, I got to get an RC. And I was like, that's good people right there. That's good people.
Come over, eat dinner at my house. That was straight from the heart. And I got one straight from the heart because we all know that moment, right? And this is the moment that I hate. The one where you realize you've left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car, at a gas station, wherever it is. We've all been there, right? Well, then I found Shady Rays and it changed the game. Sunglasses made for real life, seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And also, here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays, they'll send you a brand new pair. No regrets, no questions, just replacement. So now I actually wear my sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, drinking my RC, on the boat, wherever. Shady Rays, it always has your back. And we've teamed up with Shady Rays right now for an exclusive offer. So head to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO. You'll receive 35% off polarized sunglasses. So try it for yourself. The shade's rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
All right, so back on the CHGO Cubs podcast, we're talking about right now the option the Cubs have and the layers of it with Shota Imanaga, right? 32 years old right now. We have a Toyota Super Chat from De La Cruz asking, do we get an extra draft pick if Horton wins what most people consider the real Rookie of the Year award, not just the Sporting News one that he won today? The answer is no. But it's complicated. Like, he meets all of the obligations for that, for the Cubs to get the draft pick. But, Sean, what's the one little clause that he doesn't?
Yes, he was not called up in the first 2 weeks of opening days. Players with little or no major league service time need to break camp with the team or be called up within 2 weeks of opening day. Then they must spend all or most of the year in the big leagues. Then they must either win the league's Rookie of the Year award or place in the top 3 for MVP or Cy Young. It seems like Cade Horton, the clear favorite to win Rookie of the Year, won't, because he wasn't up in those first 2 weeks. If he was up in the first 2 weeks, and then they called him down.
Right.
And then he came back in May. He would be eligible, but wasn't up in the first 2 weeks.
And he only was called up because of a need for an injury at the time. It wasn't like he was flat out crushed. He was doing well down there, and he was cutting down on his walks, and that's what they wanted him to continue. But they had to call him up, and then the rest is history. So the short answer is no. The long answer is it's a long answer. No. So they will not get an extra draft pick when and if he wins National League Rookie of the Year, whatever.
Yeah, and they called him up because Shota got hurt.
Yes, that's right. That connects the two people that we're talking about. Shota gets hurt, he gets called up, but Shota didn't get hurt early enough for the Cubs to get a draft pick. But we may have an ace for the next 6-7 years moving forward. So that's the good news. So the club option, $57 million, 3 years. Forget all the other layers of it, Joey. If you were the Cubs and Jed Hoyer, would you say, you know what? I still believe in him. $57 million for 3 years and an average of like $19 million a year. Why not? Pick it up. Team should pick up the club option.
So I've also seen out there that, like, would they decline the club option, tear up the contract, and try and work a different deal at a lower AAV.
Yeah, there's like so many different possibilities for this.
That would be my preference. That'd be my preference, but that's unlikely. I find that to be unlikely.
If it's just as simple as, do the Cubs pick up $57 million for 3 years?
I think you do. I think he's. So here's
if he's your
thing.
fourth or fifth starter.
Here's the thing: is if you have a plan in place, right, and you say to yourself, Cade Horton, we're writing him down. We're writing him down in ink. Okay. Mm-hmm. You got Matthew Boyd for 1 more year. You'll make a decision on that. Matthew Boyd is older than Shota Imanaga. Jameson Taillon comes off the books, I believe, a year after that. Also getting up there a little bit in age. Let's just say you wanted to target a high-priced free agent pitcher via trade or via free agency this year. So maybe he's mystery man number 1, Cade Horton number 2. You'd like to think that someone would emerge between the Jackson Wiggins or the Ben Browns of the group and maybe become that third person. Okay, fine.
Or somebody else that you're not expecting.
The only thing is, and probably the Chicago Cubs know this probably better than anybody else, is the question that I asked on the other side of the break is, who are you getting when it comes to Shota Imanaga? Through his first 12 starts last year, only last year, 6-3, 2.65 ERA. He still walked out of this year with a whip under 1 at 0.99. Now, I get it, right? Like, there's 2 huge, giant pimples on his face in terms of his season this year. The first one, obviously, is the 7.20 ERA that he put up in September, 287 opponent's batting average, 9 first-inning home runs, 20, and also in 68 innings, too, as well. In 68 innings, his first 68 innings, allowed only 11 home runs. After that, 76 home runs, allowed 20. The home run bug finally got to him, and the other problem was that he had traffic on the base paths. I feel like it all started against that White Sox start when his velocity was down. Yep, when his velocity was down and whether he was tipping pitches or not. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the New York Mets start where, let's be honest, the track record's kind of out there. Shota Imanaga and the New York Mets are not good bedfellows. He's not the Mets have knocked him around pretty hardcore the whole time. So I still believe in the overriding numbers of the accumulation of his career as a Chicago Cub, and I feel like that I can bank on him. 20 of his 25 starts, he went at least 5 innings and allowed 3 or fewer runs. That's a pretty good hit rate of just being a solid pitcher. What is the going rate for a solid pitcher these days? Anywhere between $16 to $20 million. It falls right in between that line there. And again, if he is your 4th or 5th starter, I like it a lot. Anything elevated above that, maybe the Chicago Cubs have a decision to make.
I expect Shota to be on the Cubs next year. How that happens and how much longer he's on the Cubs after next year, I don't know.
Total anyone's guess.
Am I okay if the Cubs decide that it's 3 years for $57 million? Yes, but we've already spent 2 weeks of the offseason talking about how starting pitching depth, you can't have enough of it. You can't have enough of it. And in 3 years, he's going to go 33, 34, 35. Don't put too much value, and Jed's already said this, don't put too much value in 1 month of a season or in
how about the first inning of a game where he has a 6.51 ERA
or
in first inning of games.
Or one postseason, all of which are connected to a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not ready to do it. And if he is tipping pitches, it ought to be easy enough to identify. The larger sample size of Shota Imanaga in that 2-year stretch says this guy is way worth $19 million a year. Even 3 years later, even if he becomes your 4th and 5th as we start to hope, or even if he morphs into some bullpen guy later in his career, you can't just let starting pitching go. So I'm not saying the Cubs have to do the $57 million. That choice is fine. Shota picking it up for $15 million next year, I'm okay with that. If both say no, the qualifying offer for $22 or $23 million next year, I'm okay with that. If Shota picks up the $15 million option and then that gives the Cubs 2 at $42 million, well, that seems like a pretty good plan. Yeah. I think the Cubs have set themselves up for this nicely. They didn't know what type of pitcher they were getting. They got a really, really good pitcher for 2 years. The last month and the postseason weren't as good. Does he give up home runs? Yes. So does Taillon, but that doesn't mean they can't be good pitchers and valuable pitchers for you. So
that's a great point too. Really quick,
my agreement is yes. I'm bringing him back. I don't know what the deal. I don't know the numbers. I'm not the numbers guy. Right. That's their job. I just know that he's worth $20 million a year.
But at the very least, they put themselves in a position where they have a decision to make. They have some flexibility, and they don't have to overpay for something to keep someone in house because they don't have a better option out there, which I think is a good position to put yourself in. And the two things that really stick out when we talk about eye test and living it with the Cubs every single day this year is one, that hamstring injury that you talked about. Everyone's like, all right, we'll get over the hamstring injury. They remarked, Jed Hoyer said that he's never had that before.
Right.
He had never had that before.
A big deal.
And
for
remember,
a
they were like, he's only going to miss a week or two. And then he missed like 6 weeks and came back, was okay for a couple starts, was wobbly for a couple starts. And then the rest of the way, it was pretty shaky. And then the other one was, I can't help but feel, just knowing him at this point now, is the fact that when we look at Shota Imanaga, when he does that weird follow-through thing, he was doing that on the regular the last handful of starts where you could tell that the release point, where the ball was going, what he wanted to do out there, it just wasn't as sharp as he wanted it to be. And I don't think it was because he wasn't working hard enough or because he's getting over the hill. I just don't think he was locked in at that time. And I would rather bank on him coming back and being the first half Shota more than what we saw in the last month of the season.
He's the opposite of MJ. When MJ left the hand hanging from the jump shot, it was good. When Shota leaves it hanging, it's a home run.
Operation nothing but net.
Let's hear from Jed Hoyer after the season.
Yeah, I think when we signed Shota, he sort of shown us his production over the last 2 years. He would have taken that in a heartbeat. So not only has he produced for us, but he's just a great teammate, terrific asset to the organization. Obviously we have decisions to make and we have discussions to make, and we over the next 2 or 3 weeks we'll do that. But I've got nothing positive things to say about Shota.
I think if you had to ask me right now, what's the percentage that Shota's on the Cubs next year? I think it's 80%.
Right now, yeah.
I think it's at least 80%. They're not in a position to be getting rid of starting pitchers that have been quality starting pitchers the last 2 years. Or even if it was just a year ago. They're just not in a position to do it. A Toyota Super Chat from Craig Brindle says, okay, I'm sold. I agree with Luke. And that'll always get your comment.
That's
read.
A good way to. That's a good way to get it out there.
That's worth a Toyota.
I feel the confidence level that I have right now that if you told me, and part of this is wishful thinking as a Cubs fan, if you told me we walked into spring training next year with mystery pitcher A, Cade Horton, Jamison Tyone, Matthew Boyd, Shota Imanaga, with Colin Ray and Javier Assad as the 6-7. Maybe you're making a decision on what kind of role you want Ben Brown to have. And then you can even say to yourself in the second half, can Justin Steele maybe help us? I think that is the kind of depth that would give me confidence. I would feel really, really good about that rotation walking into spring training with those kinds of options. Now, that was robbed of the Cubs this year because Javier Assad went down early and honestly never really came back. We got nothing from Assad this year.
That's exactly why I'm saying you're not letting Shota go, because somebody will go down next year too.
100%.
Maybe two guys will go down next year too. You don't know what Steele's coming back. Like, we've seen him throwing already. That's a great sign.
We got lucky with the Tyone calf strain, if you want my honest opinion on that.
So I don't believe he's going anywhere. Which of these options upon options and more options, I don't know which one is going to be the choice they go with, but I wouldn't mind having control of him for at least 2 more years. And somebody asked in the chat, does he have a no-trade clause? No, unlike Hap and Seiya Suzuki, there is no trade clause for, it's possible that you sign Shota or pick up one of these options and go with a plan, and you get to the point where Jackson Wiggins develops and Cade's so good and Steele is back and Boyd becomes the same guy and Tyone, that you have a wealth of options, and maybe Shota's a guy you move next offseason if he's under control for 3 more years. Somebody might look at it and say, hey, we have a fly ball ballpark and that guy fits perfectly, and $20 million a year, boom, we're ready to do it.
You had even offered...
Look at him as a piece on a chessboard.
You had offered it too as well, that if you set yourself up correct, you did a couple shows ago, that if you set yourself up correctly in the offseason, there's no reason why you can't move some major league talent at the deadline to get younger in different areas and kind of take from a pool of assets that you feel is really strong, or a cupboard that you feel is really full, and move on and maybe make a deal along those lines. Like, I don't think the Chicago Cubs are in any position right now when we talk about trying to get better next year, or if you want to use the word augmentation. I'm not trying to pull guys off of this roster right now. I want it injected with an influx of top-end talent to what already exists. So I think Shota can be a part of that. I just don't think we should be having the conversation in 2026 of should Shota start game one of a playoff series unless he's back to being his Cy Young form of 2 years ago, something that I think is a little less likely.
I'm okay with removing guys from the roster. Don't get me wrong, but just not this guy. Like, I knew a year ago I was ready to remove Nick Madrigal from the roster. This year, this offseason, I mean, I'm not naming a ton of names, but obviously Justin Turner's not part of this team next year as a player, right?
100%.
Like, but Shota Imanaga is not that slam dunk removal from your roster. In fact, I would suggest that he's more likely a slam dunk. You need him on your roster next year in some way, shape, or form. And I said use him as a chess piece. I was going to say a poker piece, and then I realized that was not one that I wanted to connect today. But
yeah, Chauncey Billups.
Bad.
Nothing but net.
Operation nothing but
I do think it's fitting that he played for the Pistons. I'm just saying. Okay, so the World Series starts on Friday. We have the Blue Jays and we have the Dodgers, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody here picking the Dodgers?
Yes. And pretty much how many games? I think that the thing that I'm scared of as a Sox fan, Sox in 2005 went 11-1. If the Dodgers sweep, they go 13-1.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
I'm scared.
Don't want that.
Bothers you, huh?
Of course.
Bit? Yeah.
I mean, the 20-year anniversary, and this is the one playoff appearance Jerry Reinsdorf has as an owner, and it's just going to be muddied by the super team.
It's a fun talking point, too, because here in Chicago, everyone's like, oh, that's super underrated, and I do think it's underrated as one of the great postseason runs that we've seen. You have to believe, right, Toronto's going to get at least one in Toronto, right?
I
at
was
least
reading,
one.
Did you see Carl Ravage's tweet
from
ESPN saying that the Blue Jays hit good pitching, which is obviously that's a major skill in the postseason, right? Like if you can hit elite pitching, not just bad pitching, like sometimes the Cubs did, that puts you in a special category in the postseason. Well, they're going to face great pitching with the Dodgers, and then he said they may save baseball. That's a whole nother podcast. That's one of the dumbest things ever. The Dodgers are not ruining baseball. The Dodgers are doing what every team should do, especially the Cubs, the Royals, the Pirates, yada, yada.
Yeah, I don't know why Carl Ravitch is bringing his hot takes to social media to go viral.
The Dodgers don't just spend. They do everything great. They also develop young talent, all of it. So,
and I think they can be beaten. They just can't be beaten this year.
Right.
Is that fair?
So we're all taking them, right? Let's do our World Series draft. How many rounds are we doing, Sean?
Let's do 5.
We're going to do 5. Okay, 5 rounds, snake draft. We are picking players from either the Dodgers or the Blue Jays. If you want to take all Dodgers, fine. If you want to take all Blue Jays, fine. You have to take at least one pitcher, okay?
Yes.
And then when the World Series is over and maybe after a couple games, we'll put some of the stats of the guys we picked and we'll say, okay, who's winning this race, right? And you could play along at home. Go ahead and pick your team. Maybe you're the 4th person here, but you can't pick the same player twice. So, if I take Tommy Edman, you can't take Tommy Edman.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. He's going to take Tommy Edman.
So once that player's off the board, that player's off the board. So, we only got like 12 minutes left in the show. I can already tell you Ohtani is my pick at number 1.
What?
Yeah.
Who said he gets to go number 1?
I go number 1. I go number 1.
Pitcher Ohtani or hitter Ohtani?
Both. Yeah, I get both there. See, I've taken care of my pitcher and my hitter there.
He gets them both.
Are you sure?
See, that's why I came up with this idea, and that's why my head is on there first. So I'm taking Ohtani. You guys can take whoever you want next. Sean volunteered to be the 3rd pick because
this is very big of him.
Big of me. He
huge.
likes the double pick.
Very
on the
big of him.
there.
Yeah, very big of him. Well, then I'll go number 2. That's fine. Not a big deal. I'm just going to go with the guy that's basically hitting close to 500 in the postseason right now with a 1.44 OPS. I'm going to take the man of my Cubs dreams. When we were doing
almost
those,
happened. We almost made it.
Those
thing.
hot take rumors. I'm going to take Mr. Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Very nice. Yeah,
Are
6
you
home
sure?
runs already in the playoffs. But remember, Ohtani had 3 in one game. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah. Since I'm going the double wraparound here, I'll just take the 2 other superstars in the Dodgers. Give me Mookie Betts, who was a Gold Glover in right field, and they said that's not good enough. Be a Gold Glover at shortstop.
Pretty good.
And then I'll take the guy that snubbed Michael Busch for the Silver Slugger at first baseman. I will take Freddie Freeman.
All right. Oh boy, right. Those are solid names for Sean. I see why he liked the snake draft 3rd pick.
So coming back around, this is the time for me to take a pitcher off the board, and I do have some concerns about the Blue Jays rotation holding up over the length of this series. So give me Mr. Yamamoto, the highest paid pitcher in Major League Baseball right now. I will take him off the board as my one pitcher. I could take more, but I got to get one on the team.
Gosh, I'm debating a second pitcher instead of a hitter.
Load up.
Did you see what Blake Snell did to the Brewers? Did you see what he did? So I'm leaning Blake Snell since you took Yamamoto, but George Springer's home run was pretty good too. I'm going to leave Springer sitting there, and I'm going to go Blake Snell. I'm doing double pitcher.
Wow, wait. So wait, who are your 2 pitchers?
Yeah, you
Ohtani.
But you get 2 picks.
You
You're
get 2
first.
picks.
So
I'm double picks.
Yes,
well, then
you
I'm
do
doing
both.
both of those.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, isn't
That's
that
right.
nice?
Isn't that nice? I'll do George Springer, and I'll do Blake Snell.
Look how that worked out for Luke.
Isn't that special?
Isn't that nice? All right, okay, here we go. Wow. A lot of guys off the board already here. In terms of hitters right now. Man, I'm going to take a guy who has not played great right field. A little bit of an unsung hero, but he's had some big hits so far. I'm going to take Teoscar Hernandez.
Second best postseason after Vlad Guerrero. He has 11 RBI and 4 homers. So Vladdy's had the best, and he's had second best.
He just chills out in the shade of that lineup, right? Like, he doesn't have to do any of the hard work. Yeah. He just shows up and just bangs in runs
I was hoping
after
he was
runs
going to
after
slip
runs.
to the 4th round.
sucks. Feel so bad for you.
I know.
Can't have it all.
I will take. So Joe, you just went with.
I went with Teoscar.
Okay, Teoscar. I will go with.
All 3 of these teams are good.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't feel like I've dominated, even though I probably have.
And you know, it's pretty much just all Dodgers. I'm going to go with Tyler Glass now as my pitcher. Thanks for leaving the guy with the lowest ERA on the board still.
Our pleasure.
Also should have been a Cub.
On the wraparound, I will take Addison Barger of the.
I love him.
I thought he was going to say Russell. I thought he was going to say Addison Russell.
No need to
I
bring
thought he was
him
going
up.
to say Addison Reed
Yeah.
because of the CHGO, the connection.
Yeah, I'll go Barger. I was between Bo Bichette since he's coming back and Barger, but since Barger's been healthy, I'll go Addison Barger.
Yeah, so that's the thing is there were reports today that Bo Bichette's working out at all these different positions.
Second base, which he's never played at the major league
and
level.
he's going to come back, and we'll see what happens. But I am going to.
Now wait a minute, whose pick is it? Is yours?
He took 2.
Okay,
it's mine, and then it's back to you for 2.
I forget how this whole snake thing works.
It's okay. You know what? I'll take. I'm going to take Kevin Gausman.
Ooh.
I'm going to take Gausman. He's going to have to show up in this series, that's for sure. So, might as well. All right, you got your final 2 picks here.
Man.
Are you done with pitchers now,
Yes,
Luke?
I'm.
You're all hitters.
Yes, I was gonna go Dalton Varsho because of the Cubs connection. Dad playing for the Cubs,
And he's very good.
and he is very good. And I wanted the Cubs to get him like 4 years ago, big time. Wanted him to be on the Cubs, but I can't take any more Blue Jays. I'm going Tommy Edman. And I've also wanted Bo Bichette on the Cubs for a long time.
Yeah, this is born to happen.
But I'm going to go with another guy that could be a future Cub. Okay, I've said Dalton Varsho should have been one. Will Smith's another great player still out there.
Sure is. Silver Slugger
I'm
finalist.
going to go with somebody that Joey mentioned on the podcast the other day, and that is Max Muncy.
I like him.
I'm taking Max Muncy because the Jays have all righty starters, and he hits with a 923 OPS against right-handers.
He's just
Max Muncy.
He's the great glue hitter. He's like the John Paxson of the Dodgers, right? Like he's not on the poster, but he gets
I
a
didn't
job.
go Bo Bichette, though. I really wanted to. I thought Bo Bichette I was taking for sure, and then I said, listen, 2 Blue Jays is too many. They might get swept.
So I think for my final pick is I'm going to go with the guy just to spite my wife because we were watching the game the other night. She walked by the TV, and Alejandro Kirk came to the plate, and she said, and she was body shaming Alejandro Kirk, and she was saying to herself,
dare you?
How is this allowed in the sport? This doesn't make any sense. And then Alejandro Kirk absolutely smoked a single to center field, and I said, that's why, because baseball is beautiful, and it is imperfect, and it is why the sport is the love of my life, and my wife too as well. So Alejandro Kirk.
Greg Maddux did not have pecs.
He didn't have to. Bartolo Colon just needed a lower half and an incredibly beautiful wide center. So I'm going with Alejandro Kirk to come up with a huge hit in this series. He's a guy that hits cleanup for them. So give me all those RBIs.
So I got last pick. I got to go with a pitcher.
Uh-huh. I thought you already took a pitcher.
Well, are we?
Gaussman.
I took Glass
Glass
now.
now.
Yeah.
You don't have to take a pitcher. I don't want to change your vote.
Everyone else is taking 2 pitchers,
Nobody's
though.
going to take Bichette.
Will he play?
He's going to play.
But
He's going to play.
yeah, I guess my question would be where and how much.
I gotta
The
worry
fact
about
that they
that.
were having him try out at second base and third base, and where can we squeeze you in and where can we fit you, made me think they might.
Playing? Is Kopech healthy?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, how could you not take Kopech?
No, he sucks.
Oh, Roki's still on the board though. Is
Yeah,
the closer?
so
go for the
Roki, who
closer.
is-
4 saves, maybe?
Roki, who I was thinking of, especially because they might give him length. But I was also thinking of Jeff Hoffman, their closer. Shane Bieber's been pretty good.
Bieber started their game
Bieber
7.
also, I think, hey,
Take
it's
him
a
in the
tryout for
offseason.
the Dodgers.
It's also a tryout for the Cubs next year.
Absolutely, only 30 years old.
I could take a hitter still.
And he pointed out that a year ago he just started throwing the ball, and now he's pitching in the World Series. So while it may not be perfect this postseason, what will he be like next year? Not going big contract on him, but
It'd be
I'd roll those
it'd be
dice.
very
I would
Cubs
roll
thing.
those dice at the trade.
It'd be a
deadline.
Cubs thing to do, and I would put my thumbs up on it. Honestly, if Shane
too.
Bieber was
I'd
one
be
of those
fine
moves,
if he was our Boyd
yep,
for
100%
next year.
Just keep taking
All
the
right,
Guardians.
Sean, what do you got?
I have no idea. I'll go Sasaki. Give me Sasaki. Give me saves in the World
Sasaki.
Series.
There you go.
All right, so for those of you that can't see this on the screen,
I'm gonna
you should
flash it.
We will tweet it. I'm just saying for if you're listening in podcast form, my team is Ohtani, Springer, Snell, Edmund, Muncy.
I think it's Sasaki. I think
Sasaki.
I believe.
Yes. Not Saki. Oh, no, you have Sasaki.
Great Southside left-hander though, named Sasaki.
Joey's got himself a team too. Vladdy Jr., Yamamoto, Teoscar, Gaussman, and Kirk. And Sean's team, Freeman, Mookie, Glasnow, Barger, and Roki.
What are we playing for? Rally cake? As we normally
Somebody
do?
has to buy rally cake or somebody has to buy lunch. If there's a clear-cut winner, the other two have to buy him lunch? Or is the loser the clear-cut loser that has to buy lunch?
Wait, so winner has to buy lunch or loser?
No, does the clear-cut winner have lunch bought for him by the other two, combining? Takes a little pressure off.
Yeah, you don't have to
does
cover the whole freight.
Or if there's a clear-cut loser, do we say that person has to buy for the other?
I don't think this is even that fair. I mean, you have Shohei Ohtani.
Actually, I'm taking 5 Shoheis.
all
Actually, you can
expenses
eliminate my
paid.
other 4 picks, and you can choose from among that guy.
Winner, whoever it might be.
What if we just give you Max Muncy and Shohei Ohtani?
Why don't you guys just
still
buy
might
me
win.
lunch in a couple of weeks?
You just want us to buy. Yeah, you just want us to buy you lunch.
Can you write down your order, basically, or let the chat decide? I'm up for whatever.
All right, we have less than 2 minutes. I wanted to do this real quick. This is off the top of your head. Tom Petty would have been 75 years old this week.
R.I.P.
Name the Tom Petty songs that fit some of your Cubs fandom or White Sox fandom, Sean.
Only the losers.
You're So Bad.
Free Falling.
You Got Lucky.
Into the Great Wide Open this offseason.
Don't Do Me Like That.
Refugee?
I don't know. Running Down a Dream, Sean, huh?
I mean, do you just want me to name Tom Petty songs?
Well, these all fit.
Oh.
The best one is The Waiting.
Wildflowers.
Wildflowers.
You-
Good to be king. Good to be king.
You don't know how it feels
you don't
to
know.
be me.
You don't know.
King. How Kyle Tucker feels. It's good to be king.
It's good to be king. One of my favorite Tom Petty songs that most people don't ever name is Zombie Zoo. Think of all the times you left a baseball game feeling like a zombie, or one of those crappy West Coast games that we have to do podcasts for, feeling like a zombie at 1 a.m.
Game 5, You Wreck Me.
Oh, you wreck me. Won't back down?
Shota Imanaga in that series, You're So Bad.
Off Damn the Torpedoes, Shadow of a Doubt, in parentheses, a complex kid. That could be like just Cubs payroll.
That's right.
That sounds like PCA to
We only
me.
got 30 seconds left. 10 more seconds to name another song. Free Fallin'?
Can't
You already did that one.
Yeah,
Hopefully
can't
that's the
be
Brewers.
American Girl.
Oh, that's the Escalators in Milwaukee.
Did
Free
you say?
Fallin'.
Did you say it's good to
Free
be
Fallin'.
king?
I did.
You
Good
did
to
say
be
good to be king.
Don't come around here no more. We can say that maybe to Framber Valdez.
All right.
Kyle Tucker, I got a room at the top of the world tonight.
We got to go.
I was
Thanks for
gonna do that
watching the
one. Nice
CHGO
reference.
Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. And don't forget Corey and Brendan with Cubs Related coming up later tonight. Maybe they'll do more Tom Petty songs. You know that Corey, he's a real music freak. Until next time, thanks for watching. And don't forget, fly the W. We will see you next week. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.